D, wait for it, Lightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the latest episode of Titans. I know I was late last week, but today, this week, I'm on time and everything with it. And I have to admit, this episode was a little underwhelming for me, just because we found out what Scarecrow's plan was, and it wasn't really anything that we hadn't seen before. I apologize. I just need some libation. Anyways, so I think that the show is still good, but there's this episode wasn't my favorite. Okay, so I mean, there was some action in it, and then there's some stuff that I don't like. For instance, I don't like that Blackfire doesn't have powers. Like, what is that? Like, I understand that this is an alternate universe and everything, and I like Elseworld stories in the DC universe, but I don't like that Blackfire doesn't have powers, and she had to get her the technology. We'll talk about it when we break it down, but the show is still decent. The show is good so far this season. Some episodes have been kind of like meh, and then like this episode, it was just meh. Like, I was just like, okay, it was fine, but nothing special, Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, because there was some stuff that I did like about this episode, and we'll talk about that as we break it down, which I'm going to do right now. So it starts off, if you remember last episode, Tim Drake's dad got shot because Red Hood gave out drugs, and everybody went all crazy. So it starts off with Barbara Gordon in bed, and she gets woken up by a call, and then she calls Dick and tells him, there's been 12 people killed, a bunch of people injured with the drug that Scarecrow gave out and everything. So he's like, okay. So then Scarecrow, he is granted access to Oracle, because that's what he got from the last episode from that assassin lady. Remember, she took that picture of Barbara's eye when she was fighting her, and was able to get access to Oracle. I don't like that, but it's fine. So then Red Hood's all like, yeah, I came over here to puff up a little bit and everything. You're not mad that I took your drugs and handed them out? And he's like, no, I'm not Batman. So he puffs up, and he's like, starts coughing, and he passes. He's like, what did you put in there? And he's like, I told you I'm not Batman. So then back at this little crappy building, all these gangsters, these mobsters are getting together. This lady's important and everything. She's like, what happened to your face? He's like, the woman I was with took that drug and cut me up and everything. So they're like, who took all that gold? And he's like, I did. And Scarecrow shows up to this, and they're like, Scarecrow, what are you doing and everything? And he basically says he is going to save the city by giving them the drug that they want, that will be truth for them or whatever. It'll help them out. It's a drug that everybody will want, and the mobsters will have the drug that everybody wants. So they'll get rich. He'll get whatever he wants, which it's nefarious. It's not good for anybody. So they agree and everything. So and Dick is all meeting with the team. He's all like, we need to figure out what's going down, and we need access to this computer that's at the GCPD. So he goes to there. Barbara's all like, anybody caught with this drug, it's considered a weapon. And he's all like, we need to get into Oracle. We need to do it. And she's like, I don't want to become a criminal kind of thing. And he's like, we need to figure out what's going on. So they go into Oracle. They open it up, and they're like, we need to find Crane. And Oracle, I kind of like this setup. I don't like that Barbara's not Oracle, okay? Like, she's not in there all the time computer hacking and everything. Because I like that about Oracle. I mean, I do like this version of Barbara Gordon, but I don't know. I like her as like a superhero kind of thing. I mean, I don't know if she's ever really been Batgirl. I don't think she's ever been Batgirl in this show. So I don't know exactly what it is they're like gonna do with her, but I always liked her as Oracle. Well, I liked her as Batgirl too, but I always liked her as Oracle, because I felt like, even though she had a tragedy happen, she was still able to contribute significantly. So they're in Oracle, and Oracle tells them where to go and everything. And then Jason Todd wakes up, and Scarecrow's all talking about his plan and everything. I don't really remember what he says here. Sorry, I only watched it the one time, but it wasn't important enough to remember. So then Starfire and Blackfire, they go to that mobster lady's house, and I knew she was going to be important in the first episode that she was in. because she's like out of all the people at that table, she was the only one that I recognized as an actor. So Blackfire's all like, "Oh, you're gonna go talk to a mobster. I wonder how you got that idea." And she's all like, and I can't remember exactly what Starfire says to Blackfire, but she's like something about their parents, about killing their parents. And she's like, "Do you even know why I did it?" And she's like, "Of course I did. They had power. You want it, so you wanted it, so you took it." She's like, "It's a little bit more complicated than that." And then she says about how their father said, if you, and I'm paraphrasing all of this, said that if your decision is going to be is a good decision, and it's 51% good and 49% bad, then do it, because that, that's, for the good. And then Starfire was like, "Yeah, did you remind him of that while you were killing him?" Which we find out later why she killed him, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So they get to this mobster's house, this lady, they go in, they beat this dude up, they go in, she's like, "Go clean your face," and everything. And then she's all like, "We want information. You have information. Tell us the information." And this mob lady's like, "Listen, you want the info? You gotta get something for me. I want you to go get something for me, and then I'll give you all the info you want." So then back at Oracle, they got the address from Oracle. And Dick goes to this van, and Connor shows up, and he's like, "Can you scan it?" He scans it, and he's like, "It's lined with lead." So he can't scan it, because if you know your Superman lore, that's the only thing that Superman can't see through is lead. So Barbara is watching on, and then they open it up, and this guy is in there. It says, "Help me, Dick Grayson." Or "Save me, Dick Grayson." I can't remember. And he's got a bomb attached to him. And Connor is like, "I can't defuse it. It's upgraded." So he's like, "You need to get out of here." And so he throws Dick not very far, by the way. I just want to say, I read an article a long time ago. Please don't ask me to link it down below, but it said something like, if you're in a specific vicinity of an explosion, the blast from it, you may not die, like get burnt up, but the blast from it will pretty much turn your insides to mush. Not necessarily, it won't like liquefy them, but your insides will be like practically useless, but you're just running on adrenaline until your body, until that adrenaline runs out, and then you just die and everything. So then Dick is very close to this explosion, like super close. And Connor doesn't get burnt up. Also, Connor's clothes don't get burnt up. I just want to be like, that's ridiculous. I understand you don't want him to be naked and everything, but his clothes are earth clothes. They're made out of like leather and cotton and wool and stuff. They would get burnt up. So we just need to be a little bit more realistic. Okay, Titans. So so he calls Barbara, and she's all like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Crane is in the system." She's like, "That's impossible." So she looks at it. She's scared. And he's all like, "Oh, I'm glad that you're scared," and everything. And she's like, and he's all like, they're easily, I know what they're going to do next. And then she's all like, "Oracle, how do I destroy you?" And he's like, "Checkmate." Because that's what he wanted. Because he said Batman, the only way Batman before was able to defeat him was through Oracle. So take Oracle out of the equation, you can't defeat him, which is incorrect. And I wish they wouldn't have destroyed Oracle either, because I really do want to see Barbara become Oracle. But maybe they can make like maybe she's got like a backup or somehow, and like by the end of this season, she can become the Oracle we all know and love. So Starfire and Blackfire, they go to that lady's son, and they're all like, "Your mom wants you to come home. You need to come home. Something's going down. The only way, that's the safest place for you, is at your mom's house." And he's like, "You don't know what she's like." And he's like, "Fine, I'll go with you," kind of thing. So then back at the Wayne Manor, Beast Boy is going through Jason Todd's room, and he's sniffing around and stuff. I really feel like they've put a Beast Boy in the back burner. And where is Raven? We're 7 episodes in. I think this is only a 10-episode season, and we have not gotten a hold of Raven, like, at all. It's kind of annoying, but what are you going to do? So Beast Boy finds this box. He finds a letter from that girl from a couple episodes back with Jason Todd. I don't even care about this storyline, just because it's so far back on the back burner that I just don't care. So anyways, so Oracle's been destroyed, and he's like, "Why did you destroy Oracle?" And she's like, "We needed to." And he's all like, "We could have figured out how to do this without destroying Oracle." So then she's like, "Listen, Crane is not smarter than the both of us working together, so we need to think." So they started thinking, but what does he need to control that little machine to duplicate his thing? And that's power. So they look it up, and this guy right here works for Gotham Electric. And that's the guy that exploded. and everything. Well, he didn't explain. And they figure out that the whole thing. So they're gonna go do that. So then back at the mobster's house, the lady, she's drinking wine. My favorite. I could drink wine all day, every day, but that's called alcoholism. And I don't have that because I only drink on Saturdays and maybe on Sundays, but that's a maybe. And if I do, one glass. Sorry, personal stuff. Anyways, so they walk in and they've got the son, and she gets all excited. Now, so he's like, the only reason I came is because and then she pulls out a gun and just shoots him straight in the freaking head. I was all like, oh shit. She killed her own son, and Blackfire's like, didn't see that coming. You didn't see that coming. Blackfire needs to stop acting like she's all that, because she's not all that. She ain't got powers. From what I could see from her fighting skills, which we'll talk about later, her fighting skills weren't all that. So she's coming off very much all talky, no substance at all. Like, Blackfire is so annoying. So she's like, he was working for the FBI. He was a liability. I had to take him out. I'm all like, did you though? So then she's like, I'll tell you what you need to know. And she's like, well, I shake on my deal. So she shakes her hand and she lights this lady up. Like, she is ash by the end of this, because Starfire got mad. And she's all like, yeah, I can't, she's like, she calls her superhero or something like that. And she's like, I'm not a superhero. I'm a queen. And I'm like, oh, yes, queen. Anyway, so then she's all like, that rage you felt, that's what I felt. So then Blackfire's all like, that rage you felt, that's what I felt when I killed our parents. And she's like, listen, this is what was going down on Tamarin when you left. You left, everybody blamed me. And so our parents decided that they were going to kill me for peace. So they were going to kill me, but I killed them instead. And Dad figured it was 51% good, 49% bad. So he was just going to kill me. So I killed them. I thought if I became queen, I could do peace, but couldn't do peace because nobody likes me on Tamarin. And I'm all like, listen, I don't like you on Earth. So, okay. And everything. So then this guy walks in and they're like, look, we got our info. Then Dick and them, they show up at the electric company. This guy's dead, their little partner, and they figure out that they're stealing 1% of power from each little thing, and it's so small and insignificant that nobody would notice it and it wouldn't flag anything. But it's all going to one place, Frosty Cones or whatever it's called. It seems like Mr. Freeze's old hideout. So she's like, she gets this guy and it's like Freon. He wanted Freon. So they figure out they're going to Frosty Cone. And then back at the Wayne Manor, he's all like, she's all like cleaning her jacket. And he's all like, you got something on your jacket? She's like, it's ketchup. She doesn't say ketchup though. And he's like, that's not ketchup. And she's like, oh, you got molecular. These two are flirting and I don't feel it, but whatever. It's fine. But they're trying to make Blackfire happen. Blackfire's not happening. Like, she's like, so like not happening this season. I'm sorry. She like, Starfire's awesome. Blackfire, not so much. Anyways. So she's all like, I failed you before, I'm not going to do it again, kind of thing. And she hands her some gloves and she gets this ugly outfit. This Tamarin outfit is friggin' ugly. She looks like a villain from Power Rangers. Like, Starfire looks okay, but Blackfire looks like I'm sorry I'm ripping on Blackfire so much, but she looks like a Rita Repulsa, but for this universe. Anyways. And he's all like, you look good. You do not look good. That outfit's gross. Anyways. Back at Frosty Cones, they're getting their whole thing going. He's like, I'm gonna show you what show you what victory looks like or success looks like. And I'm like, no, you're not, and everything. So these gangsters all like, this lady's like, I'll see it when I believe it, kind of thing. So then the Titans show up, they start taking out all these dudes. And that's going to be my thumbnail. Taking out all these dudes. This gangster lady leaves along with these guys, and they just start fighting, taking them out, destroy the things. He doesn't even go full animal anymore. It's so annoying. They're putting Beast Boy on the back burner. The people writing this show, they really focus on the Bat family, and they really need to wrap stuff up and start focusing on the team. That's their biggest problem, in my opinion, the show. But anyways, so he's like, no, and everything. Starfire and Blackfire are fighting. Her fighting skills were okay. I mean, they weren't that great. Her hair kept getting in her face. I'm like, why don't they put their hair up? Like, one thing from Birds of Prey that I thought was interesting was Black Canary like, with her hair, it was in her face and she gave her a hair tie. And I'm all like, that's so realistic. Why is your hair not, pulled back and up and everything? So it's not in your face. So anyway, so these two go flirty again. And everything. So they're trying to find Jason, and then Starfire's like, we will find him. And what's his face? Crane and Todd leave and everything. So then back at the manor, they're all having a good time. Barbara leaves. She's like, you kids have a good time, kind of thing. She goes in here, and then she's all like, hey, that night you were at my apartment and you stayed and everything, I didn't want you to go. And they kissy kiss. And then back on the streets, Beast Boy goes to that one girl's apartment that Jason Todd was in a couple episodes ago. And she pulls a gun. She's all like, it's 3:00 in the morning. What do you want? And he's all like, you wrote this letter to Jason Todd saying you wanted to help him. I want to help him too. She opens up the door, and that's the end of the episode. Not so great. It's not the best episode, but it's not the worst episode. It's just kind of annoying because it's like, I feel like they could have done a better job with this episode, but what do I know? I'm not a writer on these shows. I just know that when it comes to these characters, they could, in this show, they could do a better job. They just, I don't know. This episode wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. They did some good things that I like. I did like seeing Oracle. I liked the look of Oracle. I just wish there was more of a computer board and more of a hacker kind of situation. But what are you going to do? I mean, like, listen, again, I am not a computer person, or I'm not a writer and everything. All right, so that's my breakdown and review of this episode. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like Blackfire's outfit? I did not like it. You can't convince me to like it. I didn't like it. I saw the concept art or the pictures from before. I don't like it. I can't like it. She looks like a villain from a Power Rangers episode. Not interested in that costume. Do better. But yeah, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Titans breakdown and review. You guys have a good day. Bye.